I started doing these drawings on charts when I first moved into my studio out here in 1988, and the previous studio resident left a series of charts of eastern Long Island, Block Island, on out to Cape Cod, I believe. And I pinned the charts on the wall, and the next thing I began drawing on them. One of the first things that I noticed out here that you don't see anymore were the baymen, and they would, they would launch their dories into the surf and drag their haul seine nets down the beach, bring them in, and haul in the fish. And you could see these people doing this, but you don't see them anymore. There used to be hundreds of families, and the commercialization of the fishing industry pretty much, wiped out a way of life that was really part of the East End. And the charts kind of tied into that, because when I first moved out here, I began to notice how much water is around us, and how the East End was really settled in ports like Sag Harbor and East Hampton, and the commerce and the industry all sort of had a way of life around the water. So I guess one of the first things that I began to draw were these simple dory images, and I suppose that was some sort of a statement about a disappearing way of life here that no longer exists. But after those simple shapes, I began to develop more into more sophisticated images of boats and ships, shipwrecks, boat houses, anything littoral, which is on, of, or by the sea. So I was surrounded by that subject matter, and what's kind of interesting about these drawings on charts, I think, is that they start out as collage, and I take a nautical chart now. I tear the borders of the chart and reformat that border to kind of, you can actually see where the chart is torn here and then reaffixed to the to the surface. And I spend hours and hours drawing over these charts, because there's so much visual information there anyway. It's really hard to look past that. It's not like drawing on a white sheet of paper. But I would say they're clever, for lack of a better way to describe it, because they, first you're drawn into an image that's pretty recognizable of a shipwreck or boathouse, and you look through that and you notice the chart, and maybe that's actually where the shipwreck was found here on Fisher's Island. So from this drawing, I did a larger version here of the shipwreck that's really over several charts that are put together of eastern Long Island. And the charts really tend to be painted over or drawn over. It's just a medium to illustrate an idea.